When a child disobeys, it is important to discipline him or her so that the bad behavior does not continue. Timeout is one method that, when used correctly, can be effective in raising respectful and obedient children. In this video, we plan to present you a 9-step system in correctly administering timeout.
You need to pick those papers up for me. You need to pick those papers up for me? No? You're not going to pick those up for me? Pick them up.
For the first step, always give your first command to a child in a firm but pleasant voice. Do not yell it at the child, but also do not ask it as a favor. Notice how this caregiver correctly uses a pleasant voice, but could have been more firm and could have avoided phrasing the command as a question. Be sure to make the command a simple, direct statement to the child in a business-like tone of voice.
You can do what I asked, or you can go in timeout. You can do what I asked, or you can go in timeout. If you don't do what I asked, you're going to go in the chair and go to timeout.
I don't know how to do it.
But if you don't do what I asked, you got to go to timeout.
After 5 seconds, the child does not obey the initial command, the child should be given a warning of being put into timeout. While doing this, the caregiver should make direct eye contact, raise their voice to a much louder level, and adopt a firm stance. The caregiver should say something like, "If you don't listen to me, you are going to sit in that chair." Go to the bathroom, get a drink, or stand and argue with the caregiver.
We're going to go timeout? Come on, let's go timeout. You can go timeout.
For the 6th step, the child is placed in the chair as the caregiver says sternly, "You stay there until I tell you to get up." The chair should be a straight back chair. It should be placed in a corner, far enough away from the wall so that the child cannot kick the wall. There should be no play items nearby, and the child should not be able to watch television from the chair. Remove any potential distractions from the child. The location should be such that parents can observe the child while continuing about their business.
Alright, you're going to sit here. You're going to sit here for a little bit, okay? Because you didn't do what I asked, okay? You need me a timeout? No? We're going to be in timeout, just keep doing what I asked, alright? I'll come back in a little bit. You'll be in timeout.
Do not argue with the child while he or she is in timeout. No one else is to talk to the child during this time. When the child has served the appropriate time, then return to the child and ask if they are ready to do as you asked or agree to not misbehave again.
I need to have that marker now, okay? You're going to stay here until I come back and get you, alright? Okay.
The child is to go do what he or she was told to do before going to the timeout. The parent should use a neutral tone of voice to affirm that they are pleased with their behavior.
Pick up papers for me now? You are? Okay, let's go pick them up. You pick up papers for me and put them in the trash?
Yeah.
Thank you. Can you put them in the trash for me? There you go. Pick the rest of them up now. You're doing good. There you go. Is there any more papers? No? You put those ones in the trash for me? Thank you. You did a good job. Thanks for doing what I asked you. Yep, thank you. Are you
The
reading?
caregiver should watch for the next appropriate behavior by the child and praise them for it. This ensures that the child always receives as much reward as punishment and shows that you are not angry at him or her, but at what the child did.
Reading?
Yeah.
I like when you sit quietly and read. You don't make messes with papers. Do you like reading better than making messes? Yeah, me too. It's a lot easier for mommy and daddy to deal with.
Here are some other things to consider when putting your child in a timeout. How long should the child stay in a timeout? There are 3 conditions in this system that must be met before the child should leave timeout. The first is that the child must always serve a minimum sentence in their timeout. It should be about 1 to 2 minutes for each year of his or her life. 1 minute could be used for mild misbehavior, and 2 minutes could be used for more extreme misbehavior.
The second condition is that the child must be quiet before being taken out of a timeout. This could take several minutes or even a couple hours due to the child arguing, throwing a tantrum, screaming, or crying loudly.
The third condition is that once the child has been quiet for a few moments, they must agree to do what he or she was told to do. If the child fails to agree, instruct the child to sit in the chair until you're given permission to leave. The child is then to serve another minimum sentence, become quiet, and agree to do what was asked. Note the child is not to leave the chair until he or she has agreed to do that command initially given.
Don't work hard when it's easy. I put in work when it's hard. Girl, I never